Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRCDJLIVE.
Welcome on back into some VRCDJ Live. I'm Rob Roman, your host, and great time to have you here on the program as this month is steadily creeping on through. And I don't know about you, but for me in September, we really don't chill very often. No pun intended to our guest today. But at the same time, too, the fact that, this is our time to relax. This is our time to experience and get to know a little bit more outside of our VRChat community by doing a lot of other things than just performing, even though that's a really fun thing to do. But welcome on in. Welcome everyone to the show. It is a live show, and if you're brand new here, this is VRCDJ Live. Welcome in, too. We get to hang out with all of your favorite DJs, club owners, dancers, VJs. We haven't had too many VJs on the show quite yet, but I'm sure at some point in time some of them are going to want to branch out to discuss everything that they've got going on, including members of our community. And if you are one of the many aspects of the VRChat rave community, we invite you to be a guest on the show. Or if you want to come on and talk about all of your favorite things about what we have going on in our community, we have a whole lineup of different submissions forms down in the About section here live on Twitch, as well as in the bio on YouTube for the replay. So we do have a brand new submission for our community members as well. So even the average raver in VRChat can come on and say what they like or dislike about our community. And it's kind of it. That's kind of why we have the show. We want to make sure that everybody's in check. We want to make sure that that the scene in here is exactly what they've been expecting, as well as get to know everything going on moving forward into the holiday season. So that's what we got going on this program. Welcome on in, like I've said a bajillion times already. And we have a lot to discuss on today's show, that's for sure. I know me and the guest, we were explaining a lot of different things. Our guest today has not only dabbled in DJing performance, but creating and curating world creation and community organization, featuring an 18-plus safe for work community, over 18,000 members, featuring DJs that perform all sorts of genres, from tech house to raw style and everything in between. And recently announced to be performing at this year's Sheltercon. Please welcome to the VRCDJ Live studio, xChillPhil.
What's up, y'all? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It kind of seems, well, thank you. It kind of seems like you have a lot of things cooking. And that's the thing too, is just like, it's always good to be doing a lot of different things. Especially because like when people come in here, they're just DJing and it's like, okay, maybe they're just getting their foot wet with that, but also they have to learn about the social media and they got to learn about, making avatar stuff, as we've had with several guests on the show. And in this particular case, community and raising a community. And there's just so many aspects going on. Tell us about how it's been going for you this year. You seem like you're very busy all the time.
Well, that puts it lightly. Thanks for having me. This is great to be here. And yeah, like you said, it's staying busy is kind of like what keeps me going, because it's we don't want to get too burnt out on just like DJing and going to events here and day out, but what keeps it interesting, what keeps that spice flowing, as they say in Dune. It's always like, if I have an idea, and my friends can attest to this, I'll like throw out an idea and be like, yeah, I think I can do that. And then I'll just like experiment with it and then roll with it, and see how far it goes. And usually it comes to fruition, whether it's a crazy idea like making a TV show or trying out Unity for the first time and then going from there. Like, it's been quite the journey here in VRChat for the past like 5 years I've been on the platform.
See, it's so wild for us to hear that, just because, again, I feel like every year that people come in here, it always starts, there's a whole timeline between January to January of either learning how to DJ, learning how to get bookings, learning how to be on festival lineups, and then on the other side of it, just being like, well, maybe I can be an avatar creator. Maybe I can make worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe I can perform IRL. Maybe I can join a community, and being able to do that, it's I don't want to say it's funny. I mean, it's cool. It's great to see that everybody's creativity has been kind of doing that. But I want your take on September, because for me, again, September always seems like the end of summer. The dog days of summer is still kind of hanging out, but we're not quite in spooky season yet. So how does September usually look for you as far as creativity goes? Do you just kind of lock in, or is it just another month for you?
Yeah, it's actually, you put it, I didn't really thought of it like that, but it is kind of a ramp up. I'm a winter guy. So like, I was born in January. I thrive in the cold. I mean, we're all like VR dwellers, right? So what's a better time than to stay indoors during the winter when there's like no sun outside, right? So like in the summer, like I kind of get like the summer blues. But like, yeah, once September starts rolling around, the wind gets kind of chillier, and pun intended, that's like when my creativity starts to spike, I would say. And this September has been no different, because we've had like so many different projects, a lot of big things getting announced. And a lot of stuff I've been working on, which we'll talk about. But it's been great. And I just want to preface, like, VRChat and like getting into this game, I don't know anything. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going through it day by day and just figuring it out like everybody else, and just like, making it work somehow. Like it's all just like a big mystery to me still. Like there's so much crazy stuff in this game, and people way more smarter than I am just like doing crazy stuff out there. And it's like, that's what keeps me going. I'm just like, how does this work? How are they doing this? Where's that drive? That's what keeps me going.
But that's cool too, because like I know for me, and again, this isn't my show, but at the same time, I think a lot of people can relate to it as well. As soon as they keep hearing the term pumpkin spice latte or PSL season, you already know that it's going to start leading into spooky season. And then like the what was it called? They got the not Spooky Empire. What is it called? They got the spooky Spookality, yes, but Spookality. But I'm talking about the place to get all the spooky stuff that you purchase.
Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, Spirit. So it's like as soon as Spirit Halloween comes out, it just feels like that's kind of you're leaning into that. But
that's
for
when that's the trigger of like, oh shit, there's some Spirit Halloween stuff. Like it's getting. The leaves start turning. Yeah, like
maybe it's the smell of constant like manufactured plastics that keep coming in. That's like
the sweet smell,
the inspiration of it all. But you're saying
you smelled your controllers when you first got them. Like when I first got my Index or my Beyond, I just took a big whiff. And I was like, oh yeah, that's.
I do that. I do that with new CDs. I do that with new CD smell. And I'm
really,
just like, of course,
you still get CDs. What the heck?
Well, listen, digital media, man. Like we've already known about the digital media is the fact that like, you can't even, you're just literally renting things, and now you
That's
can
awesome.
own them.
I'm more of a vinyl guy, but I respect the CD. I actually went to a show recently. Shout out Nina Geraci. And I went to the merch. I was like, hey, do you guys have vinyl? And they're like, no, we only have CDs. And I was like, come on. But it was kind of cool that they're still selling CDs. But
so what is your take on because people are starting to pull out vintage cassette tapes now?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm not a hater. I think it's cool, but it's also like I'm a practical guy. I'm just like I would rather have a cassette than a CD for sure. Because the CD, I'm like, you can only listen to that in the car. Because like having a portable CD player is just like not the vibe. Like a portable cassette player, like I could see that. That's kind of swag. But like, yeah, see, I just don't get a CD. Like it'll skip, if you like go jogging or something. But like the Walkman's coming back. I'm starting to see that more. Like the retro headphones. That's like super swag. And vinyl. Vinyl's always been sick. But I don't know, CDs, not a fan.
Like portable CD player is definitely a skill issue in my opinion. So like if you need to have skills to be able to have it not skip, but so somewhere around. Yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna tempt you on this because I know you're gonna roll your eyes. But social media has been stating as of this week that MP3 players are making a comeback.
That's crazy. What?
I'm not saying that we're all trying to get old here, but at the same time, like, bring back the old iPods just for music.
Yeah. I actually was thinking literally on the drive over here today, of like the songs in my old MP3 player, like my first MP3 player that like, like you went to like YouTube MP3 and like shout out B MP3. I don't know if y'all know that one. That's an old website. Got some like, when I was like 11 years old, listen to the jams, like that was the stuff. And I was thinking about that. I was like, man, like I wonder what songs are on that because I like totally forgot. I know it's a lot of Katy Perry, but
You're into big into Katy Perry.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, like not anymore. But when I was a kid, she was the jam. Like Hot and Cold and like Teenage Dream. Like, oh my gosh, that was the shit when I was like in middle school.
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously we have a lot to learn about you here on the program, Phil. And of course, this is a live program. It's VRCDJ Live. And we're glad to have everybody in chat. And of course, proper fashion states that anybody in chat, you can ask Phil any of the questions. You know, this is the reason why he's here hanging out with us for 2 hours. And all the questions.
See you, chat.
Yeah, any questions that you guys genuinely want to ask him. Well, in reason. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of other questions out there that don't need an answer. But we are going to talk a little bit more about it later on in the program. But you know, for those people that may not know who you are and the things that you do in here, give us a little bit of a rundown, a little cliff notes of xChillPhil.
Oh man, where to begin? Well, what's up, y'all? xChillPhil here. Just a normal dude. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing in here. Just kind of like day by day, figuring things out, having fun. I guess I started VR like with right after the pandemic lockdown. I was kind of a late starter. I think like 2021, 2022 is kind of when I really got invested. But yeah, I joined with with this group called Ancients of VRChat, which is a big part of my start of VR. And it's kind of funny because like there's always this long running joke of people who join Ancients is there's this like 1 or 2 Reddit threads on the VRChat subreddit, which is like, hey, I'm an adult, but I don't want to play VRChat with kids. Like, who can I join? Like, is there any group I can play with? And everyone always recommends like, oh yeah, join Ancients of VRChat. And that's like a running theme, and that's how it's kind of like grown so big over the years. But just kind of got my start from there, seeing some friends and hanging out and being like, oh yeah, like this game is more than like public black cats and like, Among Us, right? That is like, that breaks halfway through. And yeah, that community kind of really sparked like what this whole game could be. And like, that is still evolving like to this day of like, wow, I didn't know this game could do this. I didn't know you could do this in this game. But that's kind of where I really started. And then from there, just kind of branching into the music scene, really getting into performing and music and DJing and all that good stuff. Because I did that back in high school and college, and I haven't really had an outlet to express that since then, since I started like working until VR, right? So I was like, oh, this is like awesome. Like you're telling me I can just like turn on my computer and start DJing and people like come hang out. Like that's incredible. So yeah, that's kind of like really what we've been doing and just hanging out and just meeting friends, making new friends and enjoying life. That's pretty much what it's been all about.
So would you ever consider that you were also xChillPhil in high school when you were doing these things?
That was my Xbox username like forever. So that's always been my nickname. It actually used to be is a exclusive. Well, a couple of friends know this, but I don't tell this to very many people. But I used to have like the Xbox gamer tag where it was like lowercase x, capital X, lowercase x, and then xChillPhil, and then XXX. Like I had that username. So for the modern era, I like shortened it to just 1X. But that's like, I guess also why I have it still, because it's like a throwback to like, like Call of Duty, like Black Ops 2 era, like Xbox, like gamer tags that were like cringe,
You're way too overly extremed on your gameplay kind of a thing.
Yeah. Oh, someone put in the chat. That's it. Yep, that's exactly it. It was so crazy, but yeah, I really have a lot of respect because like, I've been a gamer. I'm a gamer, but for a while now.
All right. Well, let me ask you this then. Yeah. Because I'm becoming a gamer. I've been trying to play the vintage games to get my gamer card and understand like what it is to be a gamer. At what point in time did you play a game that you either beat and then you considered yourself a gamer?
Oh wow. Well, the first thing that went to my mind, because I was gonna say like, oh well, everyone's a gamer, even if you play, Candy Crush on your phone. I don't know if that's true anymore. But I mean, for me, because I was always like super casual. I never played Pokemon. I never played like Final Fantasy, like all these like I never played God of War. So all these like totemic pillars of games I've like sidewinded, but like very niche stuff like Tony Hawk, I played like every single installation of that. I love Tony Hawk. But the game I've like when I sat down and I beat it and I was like, oh shit, like my life has changed, was Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube on an old CRT in the middle of the night. Like that is like the peak of gaming in my opinion. Like I don't think I'll ever reach levels of that because that game is like perfect, and like that game like scared the hell out of me when I was a kid, and I was somehow allowed to play it. Like it
So
was
what are
crazy.
your thoughts about Ashley screaming Leon constantly?
Oh, it's
in that
awesome.
game? Okay.
It's annoying, but it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like, yeah, like we're doing this, we're here. Like yes, it's a little annoying, but that's what it's all about. You know, you're saving the girl, you're beating the Los Plagas, you know, you're getting out of like whatever country he's in, like Spain or Mexico. Like, oh yeah, that's what it's all about. Like, so it's a totemic part of that game.
I feel like we always miss those moments to be able to ask these types of questions, and it's funny that we have this show because the reason for the show existing is the fact that when we come and see you perform, you go up there, you bang it out. Once you're done, you kind of take your headset off, you get a towel, you get some water, you go to the bathroom, maybe go take a nap, go eat something, and then we just never hear from you ever again because you'll probably fall asleep. But but like that's the thing though, it's just like there's a lot of connectivity and relatability, especially when joining groups like Ancients and stuff, of being able to be like, oh, I play Resident Evil 2. No, me too. I play Resident Evil. And so it's like, oh, I like zombie girls. I like the undead girls. Sorry, undead. They're not zombies. I'm gonna get a lot of hate on the internet for that one. But,
zombies, yeah.
But like that's all super important too, because you know, again, most of the time that we're in here, we're just kind of focusing on music and kind of focusing on all of that sort of biz. And so tell us a little bit about Ancients. Obviously, we're going to be kind of breaking it down further on in a couple of minutes, but tell us a little bit more about Ancients. When did it start, and just kind of how it got developed, really?
Yeah, oh for sure. I'm sure it's had a super fascinating history. I'm not super involved with like the groundworks of Ancients because I joined like roughly 2022, 2021. But from what I recall, it really started as like a really small group, you know, just like everything, just like hey, we're gonna hang out and do some world hops, hang out, you know, play games, and then it just kind of like kept growing and growing, from what I understand. So yeah, when I joined, I initially was just like having fun, like oh my gosh, like all these new people, and like I was using Discord for the first time. It was like my first Discord server I ever joined. So I was just getting kind of used to that. But then like one day before I became like super involved, there was like I think like someone mentioned it in chat or something, but it was like oh, we used to like do music events or like DJs, and I was like, I've heard about like DJing in VR, like I've seen a few YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, like well, like have there been a DJ event for Ancients? And they're like, oh no, we haven't had one in a while. And I was like, well, you know, a big thing with Ancients is you can like submit an event idea. So if like even if you're a brand new user and you're like, hey, I want to help host an event, I want to have this idea for whatever, it could be anything you want. A staff member or a guide will help you. I'm just like, hey, like let's put the event together, let's put it on the calendar and invite some people. And that's what I did. I was like, hey, I want to like DJ and host a DJ event, and like that'd be super cool. And so we like made it happen. And it just kind of like kept going from there, and that eventually became Club Ancients. But yeah, no, Ancients is super cool. We have like a lot of staff members now, like admins as well, and it's just like grown like so much. Like right, there's so much to do, a lot of different channels to talk in, a lot of different events as well. Like I mentioned, like game night is a staple. That's every Saturday. There's like a Sunday hangout, which is also pretty big. That always like maxes out the instance. But it's just a great community of just people who really like care for each other. And that's kind of why I've stuck around.
It's all very interesting because of the fact that I know we were kind of just talking about it moments ago before the stream even happened, and between you and I feel like we're gonna need to kind of toss this idea back and forth a little bit, because we have a lot of people that are part of our community. I don't want to say that burnout is like lingering or looming in September. But I feel like the month of September, we're just constantly working on things, maybe getting things ready for spooky season and October, or even just the holidays to begin with. And we keep forgetting the fact that there's so many other things that we can possibly do as a community. And most recently, again, we were talking off stream about Four Seasons a little bit. You were interested about Four Seasons. I just got off a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And just being able to find time to just hang and just get to know each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a disconnection with that, just because of the fact that, like, once you're a DJ and you gain a little bit of fame in here, you have to do a weird balancing act between, okay, I hope that I don't get wanted so much that people want me to perform all the time for free, but also at the same time you want all the attention. So it's so you gotta find a good balance between the two. And that's the same thing too when it comes to kind of getting together and doing these fun events. Is you have to check that. You have to be like, okay, well, I DJ and I do a thing, but this is my time to just be a little vulnerable, hang out, do some fun things. So I want to toss this ball back and forth a little bit, especially with Ancients, because again, you were just mentioning how you have all these amazing things, and you got game night on Saturdays, and being able to just get together and go to maps and whatever. How frequent should we be kind of doing this on the regular compared to the regular DJing events that we got going on here all the time?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And I think you really hit the nail, because like a lot of, I've had this sentiment, or I felt this sentiment recently, and especially with the summer, it's just like, yeah, a lot of my friends and people who I associate with have been feeling, either like burnt out, or, we talked about some unmotivation of just like, hey, like, I don't really know, like, I don't have the drive, like, like for me, I get the summer blues, right? But I felt the sentiment a lot through, not just myself, but, some friends of just like, yeah, is there too much going on of like just strictly DJ events or music events? And I think it's super important to take a step back and watch a movie, or grab your closest friends and world hop, or just hang out and talk. Cause like I mean, that's really important. And that's what, this is a social platform at the end of the day. And, a lot of us need that social like energy to be filled. And, you can't really get that sometimes in a packed venue that's really loud, and you can't really talk to the person next to you, because it is emulating like a real life venue, which is great and super awesome. But sometimes you just want to like shoot the shit, right? And just talk about like, when the next Deckard is coming out or something. But yeah, I think and Ancients really fills a great spot with that, because that's what it's all about. It's all about community. There's always people talking in the Discord, always people online, people making, great art, maps, avatars, sharing it around. And that's what kind of like got my brain moving, of like balancing those two worlds of like, yeah, just like being asked to DJ, going to clubs on a Saturday, versus like, no, I'm going to step back and like log on a Tuesday and like just hang out with my friends, and that's like, usually the latter is like so much more valuable, and like what I remember, because it's like, that's like real time with your homies, and like, that's like, super valuable. So I think it really is a balance, and like I encourage a lot of my friends as well, just like, hey, like let's, I really want to like step back and like, yeah, because summer was super busy. Summer's a lot of stuff's happening. There's always all these events, which is great. But yeah, sometimes it could just be so much where you just feel exhausted, and I know I certainly did.
I know I'm going to kind of bleed this into the topic that it's going to be a little bit of a chuckle for the people that have been in VRChat for such a long time. They're going to be able to remember this concept. But it's funny that when you first wanted to come on the show to talk about Club Ancients, it reminded me a little bit about, there's another group that's currently out and around, but they're not very vocal, because they love how it used to be back in like 2017 and earlier on from 2017, back in time, that nobody really cares about, but it still exists. It's just like going to the library or the museum. It's just like, yeah, we got stuff from back in the day, but are people genuinely interested in it? I mean, right. We should be, right? People would want to know what it was like to be in here without a video player, or without like a personal mirror, or when the name tags were all green and stuff like that. So when you were announcing that it was Club Ancients, I had to kind of check you a little bit at the beginning of the week to kind of see if it was run almost as similar as that other group, referring to themselves as kind of like not in a sense of an ancient, but like people that have been in here for such a long time. And and that's the reason why I kind of brought it up too. And I'm going to kind of meld this together, was that group it's not solely based, but it's the community loves to get together, and they love to world hop, and they love to like beam in meme avatars and just kind of be silly and reminisce and stuff. And maybe they are boomers. I mean, you know, you can't say that old people at like the retirement homes aren't cute, being like, back in my day, and you're just like, oh, you're doing the thing.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm not expecting that to happen in here at any point in time, but we are going to have that cosmic kind of like shift between the people that have been in here, and they're like, you know, not kids, but like they're young, and then all of a sudden they're old compared to the young kids that are coming in. So and it's funny that we should be able to kind of take a page from that, where again in VRChat, instead of DJing or doing these events, we should be exploring the spaces that we have in here. Obviously, VCAT is always a very good option for us coming in here biannually. But again, another tricky question for you is that I feel like now that people are starting to kind of develop that sense of community and wanting to hang out, are we going to be able to see kind of resurgence of that? Are we going to be able? Is that going to be the next big thing to come back to, being able to explore and just hang out as a community?
The hangout meta coming? Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like, because I mean, you know, this game, it's always shifting, and like, yeah, I mean, I say a game, but it's really just like, it's like a community, and like, you know, I'm very ingrained with like the rave scene, right, as we all know, but there's these huge ebbs and flows throughout, you know, the past how many years, like 3-4 years I've been a part of it. And yeah, you see these like shifts in like people's perception of the scene, people's feelings towards certain things, and just like general like vibe of just like how is everyone doing, right? Especially like, you know, in today's world, that question is being asked more than ever, of just like, how you doing? And I think that's just so important, of just like, yeah, like we really and people really do look out for each other, which is like awesome. Like the strongest community of just like outreach and like friends having each other's backs, like no matter what, is just so powerful. So I absolutely do see that like hangout meta of just like, hey, like we're gonna maybe take a step back or just shift directions of this thing we love and just like see where we can go with it. Because I mean, I know that's what I've been doing. Like I've been taking on different projects and even like IRL stuff of just like, yeah, you know, sometimes I want to hit the club downtown, and I'll do that. I'll do like a double dip night where I'll be like in VR, and then I'll like take off the headset, get an Uber, go to a rave at like, you know, 3 a.m. And this like, I see the both worlds, and that is just like, it really puts everything into perspective of like, okay, yeah, like this is what matters to me, you know, like here are my priorities, and where can I chase that within this game and within these friends that I've made. And I think people are starting to realize that more and more, of just like, yeah, like it's not just about like, yo, getting my DJ leaderboard right leveled up, like like no, that's what it's not about that at all. Like I saw a post like a couple months ago where it was like, yo, shout out all those like drinking club maps, because that's like where we all got our start. And I was like, yes, like that is so true. Like we all had to start somewhere, and like it's really just about like how you react to what's given to you, right? Of just like, how are you using your time, and how are you treating other people in this? And that's kind of like what makes this space like what I love. I don't know if you feel that way, but that's certainly how I perceived it.
It's interesting now because of the fact that, like, again, coming in 2020, 2021, stuff like that, I feel like it is starting to get a little bit more popular. But with the ever-changing hardware and the scene and people wanting to be a DJ and the bookings, and also the hardware, headset hardware, which we were a little bit talking about. I mean, people in chat are talking about the Deckard. Yeah. Obviously, we're all kind of
Deckard, please.
Yeah, we're all upset about that because it's
Deckard.
Like, please give us something.
Please
give us something better than the expectation of the Virtual Boy for the Switch 2. Because we can't play VRChat on that. But at the same time, too, like all of this is fascinating because of the fact that like it's ever changing, the news is ever changing, we are adapting, but we're also kind of like we're trying to stay grounded to what is constantly ever changing in the scene. I know in the program, without me opening this whole thing up, because again, we only have like 90 minutes of this program. But like the fascination this year alone from a lot of the convention scenes of doing virtual mirrors and being able to go to a MagFest at the beginning of the year, and being able to not only see the VRChat presence there and the performers there, but the fact that they've integrated that virtual mirror so hard, and everybody enjoyed that sort of thing. So between that and just how you were saying integrating the VR to the IRL stuff, and it's also a shocker to see that the IRL stuff in clubs, they're not as packed as they used to be. I think people don't like, the threat of lingering violence at a club, I guess.
It kind of sucks. Like, I don't know, like, shout out Rue, but I'm sure you've seen that sticker / t-shirt where it's like, hey, like, take a look at any of your local DJs, and I promise you a VR DJ is going to, like, beat them no matter. I'm paraphrasing, but that is so true. Because, like, I will literally do that where I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go see some local DJs, and I know a bunch, and I'm trying to, like, get into that scene here. And I'm just like, I listen to a set, I'm just like, hey, no disrespect, but, like, some of my friends would, like, blow this place up with, like, their techno or, like, their dubstep. And it's just, like, it's crazy because we're all doing this for free in our basements in our underwear. And it's just, like, such a hidden gem. There's, like, every weekend, there's infinite, basically, places to go see, things to go, experiences and genres. We're so spoiled. And I look at, like, the clubs downtown, and it's just like, 3 of them are, like, getting shut down, like 2 of them are, like, playing, I'm not gonna throw shade at certain genres, but let's just say a genre I don't like. and then it's just, you know what I mean? And it's just like people bumping into you, people sweaty, people fucking doing all this shit. But in VR, it's like you don't have to worry about a lot of that. It's like it's so much different and like more convenient and a lot more fun in certain ways. So yeah, it is definitely interesting.
And being able to break into that tech too, I feel like the more people are investing into virtual reality headsets when they're not in virtual reality to begin with, I think that they're still in that mentality of the iRobot kind of Will Smith movie, like, oh, all the robots are taking over, and I can't believe I'm strapping a toaster to my face, and I'm talking to an anime girl on the internet, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, it's working. Not like, really, is it working? Like we're kind of doing it. We're doing the thing.
Yeah.
And we see it year after year after year. Speaking of which, a really good example of this happens to be during New Year's Eve at any given time here in VRChat, but even more importantly for Club Ancients, because you guys actually got to get a booth, like an actual built into the wall scene for Club Ancients. Tell us a little bit about that process and how much it meant for your club.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. Shout out Dangleberry, really spearheaded the creation of that booth. But yeah, that was really just a project of love for the entire server. So we had a little snippets of kind of our marquee, events. Like we had like a little game night thing and all the, it was like wall cave drawings. It was like dinosaur themed. And there's like a little section there for Club Ancients. But yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, so if you're at the New Year's Eve, I'm sure the world is still up for 2025 this year, right? Yeah, it was really cool. Didn't have much input or collaboration because I was a little busy during that time, but saw it through fruition and got to see it in game and just see like how, like, wow, our community has grown like so much. Even from when I joined, I thought it was like huge, and now it's like doubled in size since I've joined, which has been awesome. But yeah, it's really cool to see that as well, just like how Club Ancients have joined, because we just hit our 3-year anniversary this year for the event, and kind of doing that has really put it into perspective of like, well, one, I'm old and that's crazy. But it's really cool that like we have a space to keep doing this and still bring in new faces, new music, new sounds, day in and day out. And that's just like really, really great to see.
So besides being old, how do you feel about like constantly being in the scene with a bunch of anime? Because I always have to think about, I have to check myself sometimes.
What do you mean check yourself?
Well, like, because like we're in here and like, I don't know, I'm a girl. I would assume your avatar looks like a girl too. I mean,
yeah.
So how do you go about your life telling people that's what you do?
Oh, I don't. Well, I mean, I yap too much to my coworkers, I will admit, but I try not to tell anybody because it's like you can't explain it. But I love it. This is awesome. Every time I see like a booth baddie, I'm just like, yo, this is great. But like, no, it's great because it's like, this is truly a place you can really express yourself, and I've personally done that as well. And it's just like there's no like judgment, ever. And it's just like every time you work on something or you're trying something out, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that looks sick," or "Here, let me help you." Like it's so positive. And there's really like no other place you can really do that as like accessibly and freely as like VR chat. But it is really funny because like I don't really like have much to talk about at work because my work's like super boring, and my coworkers are like around my age, and I'll just like I'll let something slip like, "Oh yeah, I'm like doing this thing in VR," and they're like, "What?" Their like minds are blown. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I'll never forget because I showed one of them my sets, and I was like, "Yeah, this is my set here. It's on YouTube." And the only thing my coworker responded was like, "Hey, bro, nice tramp stamp." And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was so embarrassed. I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks, bro." Like, so yeah, I try to keep that separate because like a lot of like people who don't play don't really like they don't really get it, which is fine. It's super weird, but I love it.
How do you go about the whole like I would assume every DJ in here has to go through that meme of the guy in the corner holding the cup saying, "Well, I'm really glad that they don't know that I'm a DJ in VR chat," but in this particular case, you want to show off what you do and how you're passionate about it. How do you
Yeah.
interpret that?
That's really great because yeah, I've tried to like I mentioned, I tried to like promote myself to like some clubs here, some promoters here locally, and it is hard because like a lot of like my main shtick is yeah just DJing in VR and running clubs and hosting events and going to events, but I tried to integrate more of just like yeah doing stuff IRL and showing that side of me. But on my website, I also have like a little slider because I did this video where I recreated my entire basement in Blender, and then it was like an IRL versus VR video, like a DJ set, which is also at the New Year's Eve that I'm just now remembering. So I had a little snippet of that, but it was like my IRL self, and they would like swap to this version of me in VR, like wearing the same clothes, still DJing, and it would be like a recreation 1-to-1. So that is kind of like how I treat. That was kind of like a lot of people's first introduction to like, hey, this is what I do if they know me, but not like this side of me. That was a lot of people's like first like, whoa, like you're hot, stuff like that. I'm like, oh, thanks. But like, I was like, which, yeah. So, but yeah, it was really, really cool. But I think like nowadays, like people who I'm friends with, they tend to be pretty open and accepting. Otherwise, I'm probably not gonna be friends with them. So they're usually very accepting and open to like, hey, yeah, you're dressed as like an anime girl in a virtual reality in your basement. Like, okay, sure. It's like kind of a hard sell, but it's not too crazy. Like we all do it, and it's all for fun and just being yourself. That's what it's all about.
I'm really glad you brought up that video too, because I remember seeing it from time to time as I was kind of doom scrolling through the internet, and I remember seeing that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. Just because, again, we have a lot of creatives that are in VR chat. They want to make videos. They want to do all these really fun things. But I feel like their patience hinders them from wanting to do that, I guess, or have a form of motivation. I have a friend in the scene who streams a lot, and she's just like, I could just pay someone to do that. And I'm like, that's fine, but maybe, I don't know, you could learn another skill. Like that's easy too. That's always a fun thing to be able to kind of put that together. But where do you kind of see that happening? I know for you, you are definitely motivated. You're a very motivated person. We should call you Motivation Phil, or motivated Phil. And you can have your own talk show. It'd be great. But like, how would you want to characterize that to a lot of either DJs that are trying to find their way to socially kind of do more outreach? I'm going to land you the question. I think a little bit later in the program. I don't want to ask you right away, but if I forget, then I'm sorry. But like, how do you want to further your brand? Not only just in VR, but like with the different skills that you have for making these things for social media.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I don't view like me as like a brand per se. Like I just like messing around with stuff and like, seeing where it goes. Like the other night I was like, oh, I have Blender, like I know some animation, like let me try to make some like visual loops, some VJ loops, and just like see how that goes and just like mess around with that. Or any other creative endeavor. But I think like where like if I had like a brand, it's really just like I just want to like have fun with my friends. That's like what it's all about. At the end, like if I had a mission statement, it would be that, because like everything that I do boils down to like, am I having fun, and like am I having fun with my friends, and are they having fun? Like if that checks all those 3 boxes, then it's like sweet, I can continue it.
And that's
And
important.
yeah, sure, there's like yeah.
That's important too, because I know occasionally we have to check ourselves because, as a lot of people may have known in virtual reality, especially in VR chat, there's this weird peer pressure of wanting to get big or play festivals or go pro or want to hit specific marks of like being able to play for a specific club or an event or something. But it's hard to believe that there's genuine people in here that don't want to do that and they just want to do things for fun. Or I know this is probably going to kill you a little bit too because of the project that you have coming up that we're going to talk about. But there's people that genuinely want to make maps in here, but then they don't want to go pro with it. And we're all like, what do you mean? You just made a nightclub. It's got all the lights. It's very cool looking. And you're saying you don't want to make money off of this. So we kind of have to check ourselves a little bit based on that. It's just like, you know, having skills is great and being able to hang and chill. But there are a ton of people that will peer pressure into you, not like in a bad way, but just like being like, you know, do this and make money for yourself, damn it. Like go out there and do it. So for your mindset, again, are you just looking to do hobby work in here? Do you want, what kind of a professional status do you want?
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking music production a lot more seriously. But I'm very fortunate to like, you know, I work a full-time job. So it is kind of tough, like, you know, when I get home and I'm like brain dead, like I'm surprised I'm happy I have the energy today because like, you know, my friends will joke, they're like, oh, you take your afternoon nap yet? Like I'll come home and just sleep. And yeah, because like I'm just like so exhausted, like mentally exhausted where I have to like physically sleep. And that kind of sucks. But I'm so like privileged and lucky to like have like a job so like, I don't have to worry about like monetary stuff. So yeah, then it is just like, okay, like on my free time, what is like the hobby I'm going to chase? Like obviously like DJing is a big one, music production. But I think it's just like furthering just like whatever. And I really aspire to have other people chase this. Is just like do what like you want and like what you really dream of. And like, even if it's just like something like, oh, like I wonder what that would be like. That could be interesting. Let me try it and like try it, like give it a shot. Like the project we're going to talk about, the TV show, I would have never thought I would be able to do that if it wasn't for like world hopping and seeing about all these like different maps, because I had the idea for the map. And there was one thing that clicked and I was like, oh, I can do this, you know? And there's always that like click in your head where you're like, yes, this idea is now like a reality. I can have a plan and there's like a thing. Like with music production, it's just like, oh, if you get this kind of like sound right and you have this like kind of music theory in your head, and then all of a sudden it'll click. Or yeah, any creative endeavor, and you just gotta like try it. Because if you just like, you know, sit there and say, hey, like I would love to do this, but never gonna even just like not put in the effort, but just like think about it realistically, like that's what I love to do, is like push myself of just like, what am I capable of, and what can I produce to have other people experience. Like that's what it's all about for me.
It's very interesting only because of the fact that like I don't know if anybody else in VR chat that's kind of on the same cosmic brain power that I am when thinking about these processes. I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm just saying I'm trying to be as realistic as possible because again, like I always ask my 3D animation friends and say, what does it take to get to Pixar? You know, like they're the kind of the leading in that type of technology, or in this case, was it Illuminations that does the Minions for Universal, something like that? Yeah. So there's got to be an ounce of like 3D modeling and like rigging and animation, and we're constantly doing that right now to the point where it's just like, you know, again, 4K, 8K, and with the headsets coming in, it's starting to look really, really real. But even more so, like we're constantly going back and forth with like, what do we want to do with this? Doing it for fun is one thing, but then you have the map makers in here that make like a 600 megabyte world, just featuring that, like you're gonna do like a game map that takes 13 hours to perform, and it spent you like was several months to put together, and at the end of the day, you're just doing it because it's fun. That's kind of a crazy concept for me.
It is kind of crazy.
Or
Yeah.
even in the case of like the DJs in here, you know, we got a lot of people that are performing, a lot of people that are really good at performing. And some of the questions that I've actually been approached about recently is, I want to see you perform live. And most people in
Mm,
here are just like, I haven't done that yet, but we perform in here and it's live. But at the same time, we don't know
yeah.
what that process is that could lend them, you know, lead them into that direction, regardless if they want to do that or not. So, again, just trying to remain humble, grounded, get a better understanding of it, but kind of going forward with it with your experience, and we're gonna kind of dive into your VR chat origin story, I suppose, if people should want to learn more about it. But like, where do you kind of see the
Oh yeah.
DJs right now too? Do you think that there's more people in here that are trying to get professional, or do you just find more and more people trying to just dip their toes in the water to kind of test the hobby?
Oh yeah, it's a bit of both. Like I think we're in like the best time ever right now of just like people who are killing it in the game, like putting in like way too many creative hours of just like creating these amazing experiences. And like we have it so good right now. It's crazy. Like not only just like the music, like so many DJs where I just like if they're playing a set, I'll like do everything I can to see it. Or these world creators, like I mean shout out Red Sim, light volumes. That's like been changing the game. Like incredible. There's like fog technology being developed behind the scenes that's been showcased at all these events recently. I mean, it's just like the bar is continually being raised at such a constant pace. It like blows my mind of like, oh my gosh, like where is the ceiling? Like that that is like it's so cool because it's like um you know, like you start to think like, oh, it's going to be stale forever. It's going to be the same thing, and then like something new, crazy, just like smashes the scene and everything changes, right? Like that's been happening so much more often, especially this year, it seems. Um, where it's like, yeah, like where can we go? Like there's so many. You look around, like all these creative people who I call my friends are like so extremely talented. Like I can't think of anywhere else like that, and that's what like drives me to be like, oh, if I can be like a fraction of that talent, like I would be satisfied. You know what I mean? Like it's just like we're all doing it, and like you said, like someone who would put in all that work for like a 600 megabyte super detailed survival game map experience just for like the love of the game. Like that's what VR chat's all about. Like that's where I started. It was just like I remember me and my friend on desktop before I even had a headset. We would play. I think it was like that horror map was like a haunted house, and it was like you had to get everything. And it ended with a bus. I don't remember. I just remember it ended with a bus, and it showed your time. I forgot what it was called. But that was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, this took like us 8 hours to play, and someone in this free game like just made that. Like that was when I really started to think like, okay, this is like something special here. Like this community driven content of just like people who care and like are maybe a little too dedicated, but we're here for it. Like that's what it's all about. And like that's what if I ever had to have like a legacy would be that of just like having someone have that experience of like, yeah, that was amazing. That's like what drives me.
Plus, not only the fact that the show that you're going to be putting on very, very soon, I'm
Oh yeah.
hoping that while it's going to continue to blow up and it's going to have some really good viewership and audience participation too, that hopefully people once you announce that the map would be in VR chat, you'll have tons of people trying to visit it, trying to do the challenges, trying to like take pictures, or maybe they're going to do their own little like photo shoot or something, because that also can really motivate the community to come on and do even more outside of the DJing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's what I try to tell people is, especially with this new project is, you know, it's like, yeah, there's so many different things that motivate you. And it's hard to even because this week has been really tough because like so much stuff going on, and it's been hard to like balance of like everything going on and like real life stuff. But that's kind of like, you know, again, what it's all about is like you put in the time, you stay up late. Like I was staying up this week till like 1 a.m., waking up at 5 to go to work, and just like putting in the hours. But then you see that product at the end of the day, and you're like, yeah, that was so worth it. And you see your friends' reactions of just like having such a great time, and like you just want to do it again. Like it's like none of it matters. It's like, okay, yeah, that was great. Let's do it again. Um, which is I'm sure a feeling, but after this weekend, I'm gonna be very relieved because I'm like it's coming, and I gotta like I'm gonna have a nice long nap after Sunday for sure.
I'm really hoping that in the future too, especially because like personally, when I've been seeing Spookality being released, and getting things ready for Halloween and stuff, we've been seeing a lot of map makers and a lot of avatar creators that normally do that stuff anyway to try to get in, because there is an award for making the best avatar, best map, best community, or whatever. But it's great to see that other people are also wanting to learn how to do all that stuff too, because I will say that making avatars now compared to back in the day, it's gotten a lot better. World creation with the creator companion has been absolutely a treasure, and being able to understand that, but doing a little bit of Blender work too doesn't hurt, and kind of putting that together as well. I do want to dive into it very, very soon, but I want to still announce it's VRCDJLIVE. We're sitting here with ChillPhil, being super
Let's
chill
go.
and being super
You're in
Phil.
the mix with ChillPhil, baby.
Yes, taking my branding. How dare you? How long have you been waiting to say that line?
I forgot. I was like, I gotta say it now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that kills me all the time, I promise you. But
I had to ask you. Okay, so this is what I was like, I had to ask Rob. I'm not gonna tell you this. Okay, what is the reputation? Because I'm sure you get this a lot of the mix that plays in that one world that starts with the 21 Pilots song. That is like, is that your legacy? Because that is what I know you as, is like, you're in the mix with Rob Roman, and then I just want to stay in the sun. Like, do you still get shit for that today, or like, what is the story behind that? I'm so interested.
So without like making this into my show, because it's the ChillPhil show.
Yeah.
But more or less, funny enough, I hadn't been noticed in VRChat as a DJ until 2024. That mix has been in VRChat since 2019.
Wow.
So it has literally been so many years that people thought that I didn't exist.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, you got it pretty good for like coming on the scene and doing a bunch of DJing and stuff and getting proactive in the community. The community the DJ community hadn't really even been born at that time. You know, that was still kind of, Rizumu was starting to kind of take form, and Shelter was getting on the scene, and Heist and all these other, Loner was kind of a big thing too back in that time. So, but yes, I still get it, and I get it, and I get it every day.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you, because that's like, I still listen to that mix. I'll just go there, and I don't know if it's still there, but I remember it fondly.
It will be there forever, as far as I know. Rakshaw, who owns the instance, does not want to change it. It is there forever,
Perfect.
Despite the fact that people say that it gives it PTSD.
Yeah.
But I would just say get on that level, but at the same time, I don't know how comfortable you are, being, because listen, all right, let me throw it back at you then. How does it feel to be ChillPhil when this year we've had the chill guy? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I haven't actually had that much. Like, there was that meme was pretty hot back in a couple months ago, and I got it dished out to me, but it kind of died off quicker than I would have expected. And now I just see it here and there. I'm like, he is a chill guy, and that's kind of where they left it off. So,
I mean, you're emanating that kind of vibe that the chill guy gives. So being ChillPhil, all I could see is the actual avatar sitting there just being, regular chill, and the chill guy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I try to emulate. So I appreciate that. I'm glad it's working.
Yeah, cool. So, cool is your your preferred temperature. That's what they would end up saying.
Yeah.
Again, it's VRCDJLIVE. We're here with ChillPhil, and I guess you're in the mix with ChillPhil. We're answering your questions because it is a live program, as you can clearly see, and feel free to ask any of the questions that you choose to. We are going to be diving into a lot of different things, but I think a lot of people at home want to get to know you a little bit more. When you first started coming into VR, how did you even understand VR? We were talking about how you were a gamer and how you were starting to get into VR even before the DJing thing. Talk to us about the first couple of months that you got into VRChat, or even how you even learned about VRChat to begin with.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that, because I had a really weird relationship with the game before I even got a quest and joined Ancients, because I knew about it through YouTube. I think I don't know if they still make videos, but there's a channel called Siramore, and I don't know if that's where the original Uganda Knuckles was. I think it was through that channel. But yeah, it was on that era where I was just like, I was YouTube Andy. I was like, oh, VRChat is so funny. Like the content's great. But that was like 2017, 2016, like way early. And I didn't even have like a gaming computer at that time. So I was like, there's no way I could even think about joining. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna enjoy the content on YouTube. And then I went through all of college, didn't even think about it, I watched YouTube, you know, I was like busy with college, whatever. But it wasn't until like the pandemic hit that I finally got a gaming PC, and I was like, oh yeah, that like VRChat thing is still like a thing, I bet. And I look it up, and it's of course it's just blowing up. And so then like a year later, ended up getting a Quest 1. So like the original with the is Steam Link the one with the where you plug the cable in, or is that something else? Okay, yeah, I had Steam Link, and I met the guy in like a Walmart parking lot, and he was like, "All right, here you go," and then he just handed it to me, no box, and then just drove away. I was like, thanks." It was like $100. But yeah, I like tinkered with that thing, had to install like Oculus, the worst software ever. Barely worked, but I somehow got it to work in PCVR, and like everything changed because I was like in my room in my apartment. I remember vividly, it was super tiny, and I was just like figuring out like, okay, like how does Oculus work? It took me like 2 weeks to figure out how to turn the thing on. Probably like I'm pretty tech savvy, but like as you know, everyone who plays this game will know like VR is like the worst technology. It's the worst best technology because it's so finicky, it's so busted, and it's so on the bleeding edge of technology in its sphere, where it's like one mistake and you're cooked. Like if you don't know what you're doing, and that's like the biggest problem I have with accessibility is like hardware issues and software issues. It's so bad. And it took me, I'm not kidding you, like 2 years before I finally felt like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing in this game. Like I have all my settings down. I have like, you know, OVR toolkit and like in like play space. I didn't know what play space mover was for like literally a year and a half. I was like, how are you like flying over the air? Like, oh, you just do this. I'm like, what? Like I was such a noob. But yeah, I plug in my Quest, and I started playing with my friend because that's the only person I knew. And we played those survival games, like those horror adventure games. And we were meeting cool people in like Publix. But for the most part, we were just playing. We played a lot of this like this game. I forgot who the creator was, but shout out to this creator. It was like guess the song of like, oh, guess the video game song, guess the anime soundtrack, and they have like 1,000 of those worlds like they made through every single month. They are awesome, and we played every single one of those maps like start to finish because we love music, we love video games, we love movies, and we would just get like, oh, this is this. But yeah, it wasn't until one fateful day I was like, I need something more because I'm tired of like, you know, if my friend was busy. Oh, I think I'm crashed. I see the waiting screen.
Will you come back?
Oh yeah, my Steam crashed.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
well, I'll move the camera over here and.
Perfect. Give me a second.
Yeah, Phil's just doing this with his. Not like this. To have this people in chat. Not like this.
No.
But you're still in my head, so that's perfectly okay.
Perfect.
Do you want to wait till you come back, or do you want to just keep on?
No, I can keep. Let's keep going. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I'll just restart here.
So you were explaining how the when you were coming into virtual reality, you were explaining how you were able to do all these different like game worlds and maps and stuff like that, and then you got interested into trying to understand how to put that together. Yeah,
it was incredible. I see someone put the karma of talking crap on Quest software. That definitely is what that was. I just did that. But, yeah, it was really cool because like there's a point where you're like, I need something more of like, you know, these games are great, Publix are great, but I'm not really. I kept thinking like, what is it about this game? Like it's so popular, it's gaining popularity, but I'm not really like getting it. You know, of like what is that itch that people get? Like I wasn't really getting that. But it wasn't really until I joined Ancients where I was like, oh yeah, like this is what it's all about. Of like that community and that like, you know, like that drive of like, hey, these are like real people and like they're doing real things and like it's more than you would have thought. And that is what really kind of opened my eyes and expanded of like, wow, like there's more to this game than I could have imagined. Beyond just like, playing mini games, it seemed, within the game, in the game. It really is like, oh, there's like boxing worlds, there's like people who work out, there's people who like teach classes, there's the sign language class. And all of that was kind of expounded, and just like that, we're back. Look at that. How does he do it? Yeah. But it was really all of that, of just like, you kind of have that the open eye of just like everything around you in this game. That's the possibilities. Like all these clubs of like, there's like a crochet club in VR, I think, in like Japan or something, which is like so cool. Or like there's a poker club I'm a part of that I've never been to, but I really want to try it. But it's just like, it's like almost like, I dare say, like real life, right? Of just like, hey, anything you want to do in the comfort of VR, you can do in here. And that's for me when it was like, oh shit, like this is what it's all about. And so yeah, and that really expounded with Ancients, because then it was like all these different events, all these new people I was meeting, and all these great experiences I was having. And then from there, it just kind of blew up of, discovering the rave scene. And I can kind of share like what my first exposure to that was, because I think it's a really funny story and something I'll never forget. For that, because yeah, so I was on one night and I knew about the DJ scene. I think we did a couple Club Ancients by that point, but I was still like hearing echoes and rumors of just like this club scene, and I was like, okay, like I don't really know what that is, but let's like see what it is here. And I remember just one night I joined off a friend, and I thought they were like world hopping because they're just like going from world to world, and I was like, okay, let me just join off them. And I joined this map and I don't see them, and I'm in this office at night, and it's a huge map, and I'm like, okay, so I like try to find my way out, and then I'm on this like street, and there's no one around. I'm like, what is happening? And then I find my way to this like back alley in this like distributor warehouse down some like stairs with like green felt, and all of a sudden I'm in this like tiled underground tunnel, and I still don't see my friend, and I check the instance and it's like full. I'm like, where am I? This is not a world hop. And all of a sudden I enter this room and just techno is blaring in my ears, like lights everywhere, and I'm in Shelter. And that is when I was like, oh my god, that like, yeah, I like literally casually stumbled into Shelter, and I saw my friend just like, oh hey bro, what's up? I'm like, what is going on? Is this like a rave or something? He's like, yeah, it was pretty sweet, huh? And I'll never forget that, because like from that moment on, I was like, because it was so real, and I was like, is this like a street or something? Is this like it's supposed to be someplace? And I'll never forget that, because it was just like it was so natural. I had no idea that's what it was. And then ever since then, I was like, oh, okay, that is the place to be. Like what else is there? And that's kind of like where it all started, of like, oh, there's like this club, oh, have you tried this? And like this club's coming up, and blah 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 blah. And like I felt so lucky that was my introduction, because like I've been chasing that feeling of just like wanting to recreate that experience of just like this awe, that really drives me. So that was a really cool experience.
So let me ask you this then, because I feel for you, and I feel like all of us in here, we received the burnout because we're so used to it. We're so used to what we're expecting. Most of the time, most of the events are kind of similar. And we're always trying to do is bring in some new people that are interested to come into the communities. And just like any other community, it's not a matter of us hogging the new people, but we also want to bring them in to show them that they have free will to go wherever they choose and learn and experience what they want. But it's tough, because when you come in here, there's a slight peer pressure of like, maybe I should go check out the big clubs. Maybe I'll check out the small clubs. Maybe I'll check out some new, open decks. Open decks always seem to be a very popular thing. But in the case of you wanting to be able to re-spark that motivation and that awe, what is something that we need to do to kind of get back to those roots?
Yeah, it's so simple. It's just try new things. Like, I'm definitely, at fault of just doing the same thing over and over, and raving in VR is no exception. But I'm always constantly surprised when I'll like join a new event that I've never heard of, or maybe an instance that's not as quite poppin', but I'll join in on it and just see how it is, And more often than not, it's like a great experience. I mean, it just happened like the other night where I was just like, oh wow, like I don't usually come here, but hey, this is awesome. Like this is super cool. Some great people and even having like a great conversation or something. And then it's like great. Then like what a great experience. Like, and you'll want to go back to that same place again. Because like I said, like we have it so good right now, and that we're spoiled with choice, and there's just constantly so many things happening. So that is my one piece of advice of like, you know, maybe if that creative spark isn't in you to like create art, is just like try to seek out something new in the game and like start there. Because I promise like something will surprise you if you keep at it. And get your friends involved too. Like say, hey, I'm gonna join this thing. You want to come with me? Like, you know, it doesn't hurt to ask. And you'll really be surprised because that's where a lot of like the hidden secrets lie. And like a lot of great art is like so unseen these days because there's so much of it, and like, you know, popular stuff rises to the top. But there's so much great stuff to see because everyone in this game is doing their best and really wants to put their best foot forward when it comes to these experiences. And that's like, again, that's just what keeps me coming back. Is like that just pure drive and adrenaline that everyone has to like just make the best thing they can, which is so awesome.
You think that's good motivation too for the people that are feeling a little intimidated about the scene, how they're not playing big venues or they're not getting picked up for those larger bookings? I would assume that there is some added motivation to that.
Yeah, that's the same exact thing. Yeah, it's just get out there and just like be present and like, yeah, just do what you love to do. The worst thing you could do is like try to force something. Which I know I've tried to do in the past. But I've learned that when you just kind of like let things be and not like worry about like, you know, because I'm very much a guy who's like, I like to control things, like for sure. I totally get it, right? Like, everything in my life, I'm like, what can I control it to like manipulate, right? and for good. But if there's something that's like out of my control, I try to be like not stress about it and just be like, well, that's the thing that is just gonna happen regardless or not. So I just, whatever happens, I gotta react to it like calmly or like however, you know, whatever's appropriate. But with things like that, it's like, yeah, like I wouldn't really get too worried about like trying to make it, because you have made it. You're here in VRChat, and like that's making it. Like, you know, having the ability to even produce and have music and share music with the world, I think that's enough. Like, it doesn't matter where you do it or how many people are in the instance, right? Like it can help in certain instances and feel like more pog, and certainly like I've been there, but even like the smaller stuff and like the more low-key stuff is that can kind of stick with you on the long end. And it's really just like learning to recognize that, you know, and just be like, yes, like being content with that. But yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
I know for a lot of the new kids in here that are trying to learn how to DJ and wanting to get bookings and sort of stuff like that, you have any fun stories about your first time kind of, because you said the first time you were DJing, that was for Club Ancients, but were there any other milestones that you were able to accomplish in a shorter amount of time, or what were some of the cool accomplishments that you've been able to do so far? First, hold on, I'm jumping the gun here. Tell us about the first couple experiences of you performing in here and how that felt for you to lead you into the accomplishments that you've done.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mentioned a little bit before, but yeah, shout out the big like drinking world maps that are like really huge and like scaled up crazily and like have like 20 different games, but those have a special place in my heart because like that's where I started. Like outside of Club Ancients, when I was like, I want to branch out. Like, yeah, I want to like play more places. What do I do? Where do I get started? Like, I had to start there, and I know a lot of my friends also started of just like all these clubs where it's just like, yeah, primarily drinking, which is, you know, that's a whole nother topic. But they always have a funny theme, which I laugh and poke fun, but they're always so big, which is really funny. But yeah, that's like where I got my start, and just like it was really. I never felt like, oh, I'm wasting my time. Like it was always so fun, even back then, of just like, as long as like one person's listening and jamming out, then like it's worth it, you know. And I always remember like every single time I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone was so thankful. I'm just like, wow, like thanks for playing, like that was awesome. And it's a really good opportunity because like the more you do anything, you get better. And at the same time, as you're just like branching out, you're just getting started, is another great piece of advice is just like, you got to get skilled. You know what I mean? Like you got to just practice. Like whether that's, and if you're practicing, you might as well be playing somewhere. And that you really just hone in your skills. But that is what I would say is just like, go with the flow and like things will come if you put in the work. Like I know that sounds like super cliche, but in this space, like we're all like kind of interconnected, and people notice. Like people really notice if you really put in the effort and you're trying to make something of yourself and give an experience. Like people do notice, and like good things will come, even if it takes more time than you'd like. Like it definitely is the case.
It's also fun to know that in VR chat that I mean, since we all know each other and then those people know other people and they know other people, is that eyes are always on you at any given time. It sounds spooky, but at the same time too, like you really don't know who's going to be watching. You know, you could be up there performing and then you could literally have Skrillex come in and under a different pseudonym. And they're just trying to vibe and they're trying to find the new DJ or the new hottest something. But even in the case of like standard popularity is like, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to come in here and you're going to play what you do and be proud of it and happy with it. And then you will find the people that will vibe with what you get down with. And, you know, it's still a little early to continue to preach about this because I have a feeling we're going to come back to this, in literally like after the holiday season, once everybody gets their new hardware, their new DJ stuff, the new whatever.
Oh yeah.
But like, you know, having those helpful tips, you know, we do have a lot of people that burn out and then once they burn out, they're done. And it's just like, it's kind of over.
Yeah. And that's what I really like, I hate to see, because I get it, right? Like, especially with the world today, like it's easy to just like, oh, I'm done. I'm stepping back indefinitely. And I like totally get that. I guess it's hard for me because it's like, I guess like being vulnerable here is like, this is where most of my friends are. Like, you know, it's like I could never see myself stepping back because it's like, this is like where it is. You know what I mean? Like, I like don't have many like friends here where I live, that aren't coworkers. Yuck. And it's like this is where I like my social battery, you know, gets filled and drained. Is here in VRChat, and so like, I totally get of just like, you know, those mindsets where it's like, yeah, like I need to step back, I need a break. But I can never see myself like doing that of just like for indefinitely, like that you know, like, and even to the point where I'm sure, you know, you mentioned you traveled to the Netherlands recently, is I've been also really fortunate to see a lot of my friends this year and last year, especially just traveling and like going to them or meeting up at places and like hanging out with them in like person, which is the craziest experience ever. And if anyone out there has like a best friend in here they never met, like I so encourage you, it's so worth it if you're able to and have the opportunity to meet or hang out in person. Because it is like, it really puts everything here into perspective and like solidifies those bonds like way more. And then that time you spend in here will even get even better, and it just is exponential, right? And that's just been my favorite thing. That's really been a focus this year as well, of just like going to all these places, all these events, and traveling in like to see my friends. It's like I can do that now, and I might as well take advantage of it while I can. And it's been a blast.
Speaking about draining your battery, some big news that had recently just been released: the fact that coming up at the beginning of November, you are on the lineup for Sheltercon this year.
What?
What?
I didn't know that. Holy shit!
Whoa! Oh my gosh! You
gotta
damn! You gotta play in front of your friends now. Oh my gosh! Oh my!
Yeah. Oh, super exciting. Yeah, that literally a dream come true. Like, oh my gosh, I'm mega excited for that. And yeah, November 8th, San Diego. I'll see you there. I forgot the venue name, but yeah, it's gonna be in that city, so gonna be sick. And yeah, Sheltercon 8. A lot of other amazing, talented artists on there that I'm alongside. So I yeah, I'm tweaking. It's gonna be so sick. Like and that's the thing is like, what makes that better is not that like, oh, I'm gonna be on a sick stage with like awesome production and these Function One speakers that are gonna be so sick. What is gonna make that memorable is like all my friends are gonna be there, and also like my non-VR friends as well. They're coming down because they are around that area, and their friends, and like everyone's gonna. And I'm just like, that is what makes it memorable, and I'm looking forward to that so much. Of just like, you know, cracking a drink or giving them a hug and saying like, oh my gosh, like we made it, we're here. Like there is literally nothing better in the world than that feeling. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to ShelterCon. It's going to be an incredible.
So
time.
is this your first ShelterCon? Have you done this one before? You've at least
Oh yeah,
been
I've
there
done
before.
I've done a lot before. I think this is my fourth one. They've done a couple. I kind of lost track, but yeah, for a couple of years I've been to every single one for a couple of years now. And yeah, that's always the thing is like, you see some people over and over and over again, which is just amazing, and you get to know them really well. But every single time you meet so many new people, and you're like, how are this many people? First of all, like existing, let alone like in this little niche sphere of a niche sphere within a sphere, right? And it's just like, and they're all so awesome and kind and like respectful and like talented. It doesn't even make sense. It's like, how's this possible? And that's like why I keep going. It's just like we're all here at once and just having a blast and just like hanging out, and it really is magical. Like I truly don't know how it happens every year. Like it just comes together, and we all arrive and just like point at each other and like talk to each other like, oh yeah, that's your voice, like, oh my gosh, to make VR chat jokes of like being AFK or whatever. Or like you say like, oh, the FPS here is so good, the shaders are so good, like
Where's the mirror? Yeah.
Yeah, the mirror dwelling, yeah. But it always is about the friends for me, because it's like I value my friendships so much, and it's just like invaluable to me. So I really truly dearly appreciate that, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, we talk about it from time to time too, and I know I recently was kind of talking a little bit about this with Captain Duck of the Party Hub a couple of years ago when we were in Liquidity, because Liquidity was almost the exact same thing back in like 2024. It wasn't really that long ago.
Yeah,
there was at least 60 to 70 people from VRChat, and we took over like 4 different campsites just so we can have tents and just hang out, and from different countries and whatever. But just that year alone, there was about 13 IRL events from VRChat stuff, and just all of that blows my mind, because again, within this show, we're breaking down the entire gambit of it. We're breaking down the entire thing of it, of like hobbyist to professional to wanting to go perform festivals and get booked and be a producer and stuff like that. So all of it is kind of super hype. But we also bring up the fact that convention space also is a thing too, and it's not just a matter of us coming in here using the virtual mirror is fine. Like obviously you get to talk to people, and then but I also will say that like people that look at the virtual mirror as in human form to us anime form, that it's kind of like going to Walt Disney World and hanging out with Mickey Mouse. You're talking to the anime on the screen, and then you're feeling weird, you're feeling weird, everyone's feeling weird. But during convention time, it's just a matter of that. It's like, well, you're spending all weekend with these guys. You better get to know them a little bit better. But you get to go get drinks, and then you get to go get food, and you get to go experience other shows and see how people vibe and stuff like that. And great time to be talking about that too. TwitchCon is literally about a month away, and a lot of people from the VRChat community will be hanging out there and getting to know each other even more. But we talk a little bit about that too, because of the doldrums and the fact that sleepy summer, the end of summer, the dog days of summer, where just people are looking to want to do something a little out of their norm, a little bit out there. So kind of, I would say, for the people at home that are kind of on the edge of wanting to go to ShelterCon, especially those, and I'll be honest with you too, a lot of people in here, they're afraid to get into the largest group. Shelter is a really large group, and there's always a moment in time where they're thinking, oh, maybe I'm not popular enough, I'm not cool enough with the cool kids. We've had Mayor of Texas on the show, who has also told us that anybody that goes and hangs out during ShelterCon is automatically a cool kid.
Oh, he's right. Yeah.
But at the same time too, like that's still kind of nervous, So how would you kind of curb that? How would you talk to people and let them know and say, hey, this event is going to be massive and amazing. We want you to be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. Like, because I was in that exact same boat, and I'm not. I know like this might come as a surprise, because I think in VR it's different, but I'm like super not an extrovert. I like don't like talking to people in general, like if I don't know them. And it was really tough like my first year because like I did a couple of meetups in for VR that of people I knew, and that was like totally great and easy, I guess. But my first Sheltercon, I didn't know anybody. I knew like 5 people total, and it was like an event of like 200, 300 people, and yeah, it was really intimidating. And I even like booking it, I was the same way. I was like, I don't even know, like, I don't know anybody. Like, would I have fun? Like, would I be bored? Would I fit in? So I've had those exact same thoughts. But it really was just kind of like a realization that like, this may not happen forever, and I might as well try it while I can, and like I have the opportunity and money to do it now. So like, that's what I would encourage. And yeah, it is a huge group. There's a lot of people, but I mean, yeah, Mayor put it best. Like, if you're there and you're trying and you're, just even talking to one person, you're cool and you belong. And that is like what I really like about that and many clubs is they make you feel like you belong and that you're like, you're appreciated and you're worthy. Like the last place and the places that don't last here in the game is places that like take their audience or their attendees for granted. Like those places don't last because people feel neglected or they don't feel appreciated. And I have seen that. And the places that do stick around and do get popular and do attract people is places that people feel welcome. And it's you really put it greatly there. Yeah, it's an authentic experience. And Shelter is definitely that, and Sheltercon is the epitome of that, right? Because we're all coming together and we're all vulnerable, right? We're all in our human form coming outside, and there's the sun and it's scary, and we're all like having to take Ubers. Some of these people who come to like they've never even been on a plane before or been to like a real rave. Like I know friends who've gone, and I was like, yeah, this is my first rave, like my first concert. And I'm like, that's first of all, that's crazy, but like I love that you're here, but that's wild, right? And then, but having that first experience be here with like a bunch of friends who are like going to take care of you if anything happens, they're going to respect you. They're not going to be like belligerent or like, at a random club, you never know who you're going to run into that's going to like, beat you up or whatever, or like do crazy shit to you. But here it's just like, you're safe and like you're welcome and like you're going to be in a good spot surrounded by good people. And that like, you can't get that anywhere else. So that's what I would say is just like give it a try. And like, yeah, my first year I wasn't like shaking hands with everybody and like, hey, my name's xChillPhil. Like, no, I barely talked to anybody, but I still had a blast. And then the next year you just keep kind of training that muscle. And then eventually you just kind of like you find your flow, and then just like your friends that like you really vibe with, and then just the rest just comes naturally, so very, very happy about that.
I think it helps too in VR chat when you're getting up to people. Like, I'll say from my own experience that I don't know too many people in VR chat that dress the same way I do. So whenever like I'm in an instance of a bunch of people that I have no idea who I know or who knows me, I'm there as her, and people are just like hesitant to kind of come up and say hi, and that's fine. Again, I'm the exact same way. I'm gonna go to a venue, kind of hang out in the back for a little bit, and if I'm gonna vibe, I'll go and vibe or find someone to vibe with. But I think VRChat does a really good job of understanding the processes of saying hi, even comparable to knowing a few people that you could be hanging out with during the convention. I say Sheltercon as if it's a convention, but it's every so often I'm just like it's an event, but not a convention. But
yeah,
but the same thing too. It's just like that's all good and important too. You want to build friendships and be able to hang out with each other, but also being able to do fun things outside of your norm, which will lead me into this next topic here on VRCDJLIVE. Of course, talking with xChillPhil. Got a couple more minutes here of the program, and then you're
in the mix. Don't forget.
Yeah, it's super. You got to be in the. There's so many people that want me to do cooking shows, and I'm just like, if I'm going to be mixing up like brownies or something, like I don't know if people would genuinely watch that. But
do you cook? I would watch that.
I do. I mean, I cook some very delicious looking food, and then my roommate says it smells good. So I don't know. Maybe if maybe during the holidays I'll do like some Christmas episode or something. I think that'd be pretty funny. But,
that'd be awesome.
Speaking about side projects,
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about your big thing that's coming up, and actually in a few days, kind of a really big thing to talk about. Do you want to explain it before we show the little video about it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, on Saturday we're doing principal photography of what I hope I'm right. I could be totally wrong, but what I believe to be the biggest reality TV show production ever filmed in VR, and that is Survivor VR. So for those who may not be familiar, Survivor is a reality TV show on CBS that has been running for 25 years. It has gone through 49 seasons, all with the same host, Jeff Probst, the host with the most. He is awesome. He's my idol.
How old is that guy? He must be like kind of old now.
He's unfortunately pretty old. I think he's like in his 70s.
Oh my god.
Or maybe like late 60s. I could be totally wrong about that. But he's getting there, and I'm like dreading the day that we lose Jeff Probst, because he is like literally like game show like Mount Rushmore. Like there's like Bob Barker, Jeff Probst, the guy who hosted Jeopardy. I'm unfortunately forgetting.
Alex Trebek. Alex
Trebek. Yeah. Thank you. Like that show's amazing. But what is Survivor VR? Well, it's a passion project, and legally it's a parody. If you're watching Paramount. But yeah, it's a recreation 1-to-1. It's not RP. It's for real. We're really doing it. And it's an island, and people are going to be voted out. They're going to be doing competitions. They're going to be split up into 2 tribes and forced to live on an island for a couple hours. But it's going to be intense. And yeah, we got the armband rocking it right here, and all the swag, all the world's challenges, everything is custom. So it's going to be a truly one of a kind experience, and we're so happy to share it. Hopefully next month.
And we got a clip here. Do we want to show the clip?
Yeah, let's roll it.
All right. Watch this.
I'm here in the beautiful islands of Fiji, where 8 people will soon embark on the journey of a lifetime. Soon, 8 contestants will have to learn to adapt with their new tribe and win challenges to avoid being voted off the island. They must outwit, outlast, and outplay their fellow contestants to become the sole survivor and win 1 year of VRChat Plus. And what will be the biggest reality TV show production ever filmed in VR. This is Survivor VR. 8 people, 5 challenges, 2 tribes, but only 1 survivor.
So I mean, not for nothing, but you were voicing that, weren't you?
Oh, I was putting my whole chest into it. Yeah, I had to do a few takes of that. But thank you. Yeah, I channeled my inner Probst. And yeah, it's pretty intense. So yeah, a lot of commentating going to be happening in the next few days.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say the obvious, or ask the obvious. But like, would you say that you're a Survivor mega fan? Do you have you seen all the seasons? Oh, yeah. What's been the whole process of this?
Yeah, it's I'm not like as mega or super fan as some other, like my best friend, he's a producer. He's like way more super fan than I am. I haven't seen like every single season, but yeah, I love the show, and like I see parallels to like this scene of like why I enjoy it is because it's like the vibe and like the reason it exists is why I like it, because it's like same with like the music scene is like they do it just because they love it. Like Jeff and the producers on Real Survivor, they just love the story, they love the game, they love what it brings out in people, and that's why it's so successful and why it's kept going for so long. And I love that too. It's like so fun to watch. The drama is awesome. The challenges are fun. It looks beautiful also, which is crazy because it's like they shoot in Fiji, and these recent seasons are like in Ultra HD, and they just look incredible. But it's like I'm watching the show, and it's like, yeah, like I want to capture some of that within VR, because again, it's this huge creative outlet where I've got to do things that I've never done before. So why not this? And I talked a little bit earlier about there's this like moment where it flipped in my head of like an idea, and then it went to like, oh, I can do this. And that was when I was like searching out for island worlds, and I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do this, I need to make maps and like make challenges. So how am I gonna make it look good? Because the big thing is like we want it to look professional and look really, really good. And I saw, shout out BK Island map. That was the BK Island map. And I saw this map and it was perfect, but like obviously I can't just like use this map because we need to like have some prefabs in it. We got to like add a water system, add challenges. But BK graciously, shout out Unity Store, they have their whole like art for sale. So you can like have those assets and recreate that island theme. And that's exactly what we did. And that's when I knew I was like, I can do this, because now we have the assets, we can build the world, put in the custom challenges. We did testing for like 4 months of all the mechanics of all the challenges, which are totally custom. Never made a game before in VRChat. I made a few club worlds, but I've never made like games of like challenges like this. Really hard. But we have a great team that helps us test it and QC all that work. And it's come together and we're finally here. But it has literally been over a year in the making, and I'm so excited for everyone to see it. It's going to be truly incredible.
I want to take a quick step back in time. I would only assume 25 years now. Now that you've kind of mentioned that, it's kind of blowing my mind, because I remember just being on the couch back at home and watching it with my folks and just being so focused in on the idea of surviving, and like the first couple of seasons, in my opinion, it just seemed like oh my gosh, they're always out there. Or it's like Big Brother. I don't want to say Big Brother. Yeah. It's kind of similar to Big Brother, except Big Brother's in the house and you're dealing it with. But like that's the thing though, is just like at the time we just assumed there was a cameraman, he had access to a battery pack or something, and he was just following people around. But I feel like Hollywood itself and curiosity also killed the fact that like, some of these people are real. Some of these people could be actors. Some of these things could be staged. So like, a lot of these things, it's always forward motion, especially with television. So to kind of break down that process before we get into the whole, like having people do the challenges, how you're finding these people, who's judging, who's taking care of the staff and stuff like that. Take us back to like, from your knowledge of Survivor, from the beginning of it, where people were thinking it was real, and then several seasons in, they were just like, oh, well, this seems kind of fake. I don't know if it's real.
Right. Yeah. Because I remember watching the show as a kid with my grandfather, and what struck me is like, how real it was, of like, they really did put strangers on an island and force them to survive. Because I'm definitely aware of like some of the production of how it operates. They have camps for the staff, and like boats and behind the scenes. But yeah, from my knowledge and what I've heard and researched about the show, is like it is the most real it could possibly be. And they really are starving out there in the wild, in the jungle, and doing these extreme physical challenges on like basically no food. Which I would like to think I could do someday, but maybe. But yeah, that's what kind of gripped me. It was like, it wasn't like, unlike other game shows or other reality shows, which had more of like this structure or this like script. And I'm sure things are like edited in Survivor around a way, to craft a narrative. But Survivor for me was always like the most like just fundamental, like this is what a human experience is like when you have nothing else except just other people and just a jungle, right? And that was so captivating, because like, what do people do in those extreme scenarios, and like what do they resort to in order to like get ahead in the game, where basically anything is allowed, like just don't get voted off. And that was like always so fascinating, because there's always a player, those famous players who like did the game their own way, like Tony, or other people who just like manipulate it in their own way to win. And that is what kept me coming back to watch it every single season.
It's fun to see how, again, with all the different seasons and iterations of how they keep releasing Survivor, and if it's still going on, like kudos to them, because people do love watching it all the time. I know for me, I've been seeing a lot of different variations of it, I guess, if you will. They had was it Total Drama Island, the animated series, for like the longest time, where they were kind of taking stabs at it and more for kids and stuff. I loved feeding into that because it was silly and whimsical, and it didn't seem like, I don't know, I love animated cartoons anyway. But then that kind of also led into other types of game show style television programs, such as Big Brother, of course. I feel like Big Brother was a nice culmination of Survivor and like The Real World or something like that, where they're just kind of locked in. And I also kind of feel like a lot of these types of shows were also the linchpin of what was it? There's like an obstacle course that had the big red balls and like the swinging. Wipeout. Yeah, Wipeout. So I mean, to a lesser extent to that, but like obviously you're not like it's not like Fiji plus Wipeout and you're surviving and you have no food. I mean, at the end of the day, that'd be really funny to watch. Crazy, but
we got to get rubber balls for the next season. I'm going to write that down. So, yeah,
just like a whole like a Fall Guys. Like
for
real life Fall Guys or something like that. But
that's what people expect. Yeah,
I'm hoping that'd be. I mean, that'd be kind of. Listen, we're only a few talks away from having the Among Us like game show or theme television. We could. We honestly, nobody wants it, but we could. But again, generating all that hype for 25 years, again, there's so many generations that either enjoyed it or in the case of Naked and Afraid, there was that show. This is kind of the same thing too, where it kind of puts into perspective what happened if you got, plane crashed and, you had a Gilligan's Island kind of scenario, but except you're naked and afraid and you got to figure out what you're doing. Good television, I'm sure. But just understanding that entire concept and breaking down all the different rumors of how the show was produced, and even with Total Drama Island 2 showcasing, like, there are the television crews, and I bet they had to like sign a bunch of NDAs and stuff. A lot of contracts of saying that they can't interact with anybody based off of something on something. But even leading into the newer generation and the people that are being focused in on your version of Survivor, let alone what they're going to end up saying in a modern technology scenario of virtual reality compared to, like, again, like we said before, you don't have to go to an IRL club anymore. You could literally sit in your pajamas and have some drinks. And when you're done, you just take your headset off and then go to bed. But in the same scenario too, you don't be running around an island being like, I'm afraid and I gotta find food, and then at the same time you just take your headset off and say, okay, good night. We're off the island. Yeah. So finding the talent to be on the show and doing, I would only assume you did an open casting call, or was there a Discord? How did that whole process come to be?
Yeah, it was super intricate. But you hit the nail on the head, because that was one thing we wanted to really establish, was that, there is going to be no survival aspect, because, we're all in our basements. We're all in computers in air-conditioned houses, hopefully. I'm looking at you, UK.
Survivor. That's Survivor, though. If your air conditioner doesn't work, that's an element.
Yeah, they get extra points if their air conditioner broken. But that was a big challenge, because we said, like, well, how are we going to do this game if that's like a whole core pillar of the show, is the survival? You're literally starving. Like the recent seasons, they don't even give them rice. They just have water, and that's it. They have to earn their rice. They have to earn the flint to make a fire, and they have no food. And that is such a core element of Survivor. And we made the tough decision to be like, well, we can't regulate that. So we're going to do away with that and focus on the people, and say, what are the people going to bring to the show that are going to make it interesting to watch and have a compelling story? So we had a very rigorous casting process, which I didn't really expect the level of applications we got, but the posts kind of blew up on Twitter, and we got like 150 applications through our Google form, which was crazy. Yeah, it was so crazy. And we did interviews shortly thereafter with the applicants that stood out. We even had some people, we had an optional field for a video submission, and we had so many people making videos in VR and just saying, hey, this is why I should be on the show. And that was like So awesome. Yeah, because that's how they do it in Real Survivor. You have to submit a video. So seeing that like really spoke to us of like, okay, this person gets it. This person has the drive. And that's what we looked for in these interviews, because we had our amazing staff team built up of very close friends of mine. And one thing we constantly talked about was like, does this person have the drive and the motivation to play the game, even if they've never seen the show, or if they're a super fan? Like, are they gonna come ready to play? And that is what we were looking for, which I think we nailed it. I think our casting, and we had a lot of talks in our Discord for the staff, and I think we nailed it for the casting. And I'm really excited to show you guys. We haven't announced it yet, of course. It's going to be a surprise. The contestants also don't know. Some people have asked, and I'm like, nope, you're not gonna get anything, because once you land on the beach, then you'll find out. But seeing some of those people, and we have some surprises. Just want to tease, we have some surprise guests, let's say, and it's just going to be incredible. And I think these people are going to really mesh together and clash, which is going to be a lot of fun, hopefully. So. But that was the main thing, is like, because at the end of the day, we're creating a story. We're going to create this episodic, 4 or 5 episodes of this season. And we want to create the best story possible with these people, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? We're going to let them play, and that's it. And we're just going to film them and see what happens. It's all up to them. It's their story. It's their game. And we had to choose like who is motivated, who's going to play, and who's going to create the most compelling story. And that is what got me so excited, because like I'm like, yes, we could do this. And here we are in VR, and we're filming on Saturday, and it's gonna happen. And just incredible, right? So really excited to see how it comes out. A lot of work ahead of us. Yeah, someone mentioned that we have to still edit it after the show, but yeah, we're almost there. We're at the tip.
I find it very interesting too, because we're kind of finding a weird connection between the Dog Days of Summer, where the motivation is always tanking, but on the other side of that, we've got like the sweet season, if you will, with Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's. It's all sweets within those 3 months. And during the lull time, and especially for you, because again, you're super motivated and understanding of how you want to make the best, use the best time to create more skills or understand more skills, and and putting something like that is super important, not only for yourself, but it's also important for our community as well. We go back and forth with the idea of the different videos that are posted on YouTube based on the VR chat community in general, as opposed to the VR chat community's DJ and rave scene. We do see it from time to time. We got the videos showcasing all of the things that we do in here, but there's still far greater videos out there showcasing the negatives of VR chat compared to all the cool things that we could potentially have in here to begin with. Virtual Market does a really good job with that, with their videos and stuff like that, and then bringing in communities that showcase the things that they're doing. So having the Survivor crew be able to show off exactly how that could happen in here, do you think that it's, I mean, obviously it's a healthy template to have, but do you think more people will be more motivated after seeing what you guys have been cooking up?
I don't know if I hope so. I mean, that'd be great. I just hope people like it, like that people watch it and like it. But yeah, if people are motivated, like that's awesome. Like I would love that. Like, yeah, like create yeah, videos. I'm a YouTube Andy. I watch YouTube every single day. I love YouTube. I watch it more than TV. I don't watch TV. I mean, I watch like, streaming, but YouTube and videos is like, that is the best. And so, yeah, like creating like matching and combining VR and YouTube and just making a video, like, yeah, like go for it. Like if you have an idea, one thing I really mention a lot is like, yeah, I love like filmmaking in movies, especially. I have a lot of great like filmmaker friends, and especially in VR, so many talented filmmakers. And we just actually had the film jam for VRChat end recently, and some great submissions there. But that's what I'm talking about, is that creativity of just like just having fun, like getting a video camera. We all have these cameras right here at our disposal, and it's so easy to just open OBS and start filming, with your friends or by yourself and doing something creative. And that is so much fun, because videos are awesome, because all you gotta do is watch. and you feel like you're there. But yeah, I think I really hope people enjoy it and watch it and have fun, and hope to see the passion we put into it is shown on screen. Because yeah, it's not just myself. We have just a great team of people working on it. Some fantastic producers and editors and camera people and great ideas. And it's just, I'm just really excited for it to exist. And that's kind of what I keep telling people is, they're asking like, oh, why are you doing this? Like you spend so many hours, like every single day. Like, and I'm just like, I just have to I have to make this, I have to see this come to fruition, because it'll prove to me that like I could do that. And it's like, then it's also cool because I can watch it and then I can be like, oh, that's sick. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be so weird when we edit them and then I can finally like sit down and watch it. Even though I was there, it's gonna be a totally weird experience. I've never experienced that before. So really, really interesting to see that.
I think it'd be fun too,
yeah.
like when you do put it together and put and edit it down and stuff like that. Again, in VR, I'll say it, in VR, almost everybody's watching. It doesn't matter if you're streaming it, doesn't matter if you're replaying it or just doing video editing. Someone's bound to see something based on something that you've done, whether it's the people that are in here to see you perform, or again, in this case, once you re-air it some other time, or let's just say you're watching VRCDJ Live on YouTube. It's up there too. Someone's bound to watch it. So the funnier things happen, and I really hope that someone from Survivor watches the show and sends you a care package or something.
I would die. I just know. I hope we don't get a cease and desist. That's my one goal.
No, Jeff Prost's gonna come to your house and knock down your door.
Then that's a success. But also, if we do get a cease and desist, that's also a success, because then I'll frame that and be like, yo, I got a cease and desist from Jeff Probst, or probably Viacom. But that would be crazy, because yeah, our logo is like, shout out Baby Jack. Baby Jack did our logo. But yeah, I'm just like, hey, it's parody. Please, it's parody. It's fair use. But no, I think it'll be fine. But yeah, like it's just so cool that we can do any of this, right? We can DJ, we can sit here and have a professional talk show and make a reality TV show where we're giving away a year of VRChat Plus. It's just incredible that we can do all these things and just say, hey, I'm going to do this. Who wants to help? And that's what it's all about.
Dude, not going to lie too. I know somebody in the business. I got to hang out with this guy, DJ Susan, who makes a lot of great edits. And word spread that he likes Reese's Puffs. So Reese's sent him not only a bunch of Reese's Puffs, but also like a Reese's Puffs Dolce Gabbana collab bag.
What? What the heck?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's literally sponsored by Reese's Puffs. And they keep like sending him tweets and stuff and like comments on their Instagram and stuff like that. They've got a really tight connection, and it's just so funny to see. So I'm just saying, like, just be expected.
I have a sponsor in mind. I actually reached out to a few people. I was gonna reach out to Red Bull, but they aren't taking sponsors, unfortunately. But my friends, they're gonna groan when I say this, but we need to get Pocari Sweat sponsoring the show. Like, I don't know if you know, Pocari Sweat is a Japanese hydration drink, and it is so good. It's my favorite drink, and wouldn't it fit perfectly? It was just like, oh man, tough day on the island, grab over ice cold Pocari Sweat. Brought to you by, like, that would be so sick. And like, oh my gosh, I would die if I got sponsored by Pocari. I think I would like have a heart attack. It'd be so sick.
Listen, just as you're saying, all they can say is no. Like, you could just
exactly.
go
and I did email them. Yeah, but they haven't gotten back to me, unfortunately. But hey, maybe next season once they see how well it's gone.
Honestly, too, the way that it's also the trailer looking pretty good. I'm excited to see what you guys are cooking up in the next couple of days. It's VRCDJ Live. We're sitting here with ChillPhil. We got a couple more minutes here in the program, and again, if you haven't. It's not going to get old for you, I'm sure.
Nope. No. Every time. That's right.
If you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask. But, I want to kind of dive into some of the more rapid fire questions as we're running out of time.
Yeah, totally.
And before we even get to the rapid fire questions, I kind of want to know, besides the Survivor bit, as well as Sheltercon, what else are we going to be expecting from ChillPhil in 2025, maybe even leading into the new year?
Oh, yeah. A lot of good stuff. A lot of cooking. I first want to shout out Potato Thoughts in chat. because I've actually been working on an IRL, I guess like a goal of just like fitness, and just kind of like getting fit, and so that's been kind of going great. But that's one goal, is just like becoming a gym rat, and I'm like, this is kind of pog, so that's a big goal. But no, other than that, for XchillPhil, yeah, a lot of music coming. So been deep in the studio cooking, cooking those tracks. A lot of originals coming, a lot of remixes coming. Like you said, that motivation, I think it's kind of on an uphill. We got some, I think in the next couple of weeks we should have a song or two coming out, so that's really exciting. And then of course Sheltercon, which is going to be crazy to actually like play those like that I made on a sound system in real life for an audience, is going to be absolutely insane. So that is going to be sick. And then yeah, just like continuing off in the future, because I really want to expand like that IRL presence. I mentioned the club scene here where I live locally. There's a lot of like great local DJs here that I'm talking with and just getting to know. So hey, you may see me in some local scenes near you, maybe, hopefully, probably not. But hey, you never know unless you try, right? So that's kind of looking like next year. But we're still having fun and just taking it day by day.
Hey, I'm not going to say it, but I'll totally say it. But if, becoming a gym rat is always a good thing. But if you need advice on how to do marathons or Spartan racing,
Ooh.
I might know a guy that can, help train you do those sort of things.
Yeah?
That that guy also did Spartan race for 10 years. So I kind of know what I'm doing with that. But anyway, I digress. We'll have that conversation another time. But out of everything that you're kind of working on, out of everything that, like, with the club experience and the raving experience and building and Survivor and stuff like that, I know you kind of briskly talked a little bit about it. Is there one big word of advice that you can give a lot of people that are first coming in here to experience the scene and how to get into it?
Yeah. Oh, it's simple. All right. I mean, it's two parts, but it's come ready to learn, not just about DJing, but just like VRChat is so hard. It's such a difficult game to play and like be in. So like, how do you hide avatars? How do you optimize avatars? How do you I didn't have my own avatar for 2 years, right? Like a custom one. Because I was afraid to learn. So be ready to learn, be willing and open, ask questions. And then the second part is just try new things. Like try that club that you've been eyeing, join off that friend you haven't joined in a while. Say yes to that opportunity if it comes. Like just keep doing that and good things will come.
Nice.
Yeah.
Normally for a lot of our DJ friends that we have on the program, we would love to ask, what are a few musical artists that you're currently listening to that we can get to know?
Oh, absolutely. I was ready for this question because I want to shout out some true homies that I love so much. First, Millie Worm. They are awesome. They do great remixes. They DJ in VRChat. Shout out Millie. Second is my boy Tomo. Tomo makes great house music. I went to Japan with him and we hung out and just camped. Tomo is a real one. Shout out Tomo. And then lastly, 2TD, just the homie, OG, great DJ, super nice person. So yeah, shout out those three people.
But all of those people DJ in VR, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to lead up to that of your favorite DJs in VR. I just was genuinely I was genuinely wondering what musical artists you've been listening to recently. But yeah, that answers one of my questions too.
Awesome. Watch that. Well, yeah. Otherwise, like like I said, I love I have a big like vinyl collection. So I was actually like earlier, I think it was this year, maybe last year, I was on a huge Taylor Swift kick of being like, all right, what's the deal with this artist, right? And there's a feel for albums which I still listen to, like Folklore. Is Evermore? No, Evermore's not. But yeah, the more like folky albums, I'm like I can get behind. So I love Taylor Swift. That's some of the chat pop girly XchillPhil earlier, and that is truly resonant because I love Ariana Grande. Olivia Rodrigo is super awesome. Fred again. I saw a Fred again concert. I was lucky enough to go there, and that was like life changing. So that's pretty much on my rotation in the car, and then just like classic like 2000s like top 40 hits. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
those
how
the
are
jam.
you integrating this with your sets?
Oh, but those are just not too much. I do have some like T Swift remixes that are pretty goofy and pretty funny. But otherwise, yeah, that's just for me. So yeah.
It's always interesting to see all the different DJs, especially after coming off of Four Seasons, when you have a lot of people that are playing those types of genres to swap back between hardstyle and dubstep and rhythm and
Yeah.
UKG and stuff like that, and that you find those remixes or those bootlegs, and you're just sitting there going, "Is this really what I'm listening to?" But at the same time, is this really what I'm looking for? Is it something that I like listening to? But everybody has their own little way of kind of doing that. It's so fascinating to be able to see people be able to produce it like that and kind of cultivate it like that. But as far as Survivor, how are we going to be able to see Survivor?
Yeah, so you can check it out. We're going to be uploading the episodes on our Twitter and Blue Sky up until like however long that can be, and then our YouTube channel, Survivor VR, on YouTube. So yeah, a lot of different places, but yeah, we'll be blasting it. It's going to be pretty incredible.
Is that going to be streamed, or are we going to see any stream of that, or is it just going to be like you guys are going to shoot it and then do edits?
Yeah, it's just going to be edited videos, but we actually may do some in VR events for the premiere and the finale. So definitely be on the lookout for those.
Sweet. And of course, how can we find XchillPhil on the internet?
Yeah, so my name is xChillPhil pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord. If you ever need to message me, feel free to. And then, of course, VR. I'm always around. If I'm not at a club, usually hang out with my friends or world hopping. So, yeah, reach out. Love to chat and meet new people.
Besides Sheltercon, do you have anything coming up for like this weekend? Besides Survivor, are you DJing anywhere soon that we can check out?
Yeah. I think next week I'll be at. Fuck it, I'll leak it. So I don't care. They can yell at me, but it's Rebirth, the next Rebirth. I don't know what actually day that is, but yeah, be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be sick. Got some IDs gonna be dropping, and it's gonna be fun. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, XchillPhil, thanks for coming on the program. We want to hear a lot about your successes with Survivor, of course, and I definitely want to hear a little bit of a report after Sheltercon. I really want to go to Sheltercon. I got to find the money.
Yeah.
You know, I can't just be, I live in Florida, so it's for me to fly over 5 hours, it's like, if you wanted to be in the mix with the guy who's in the mix, I'll be just sitting there going, hey, how's it going? Where's my $500 to stand here?
Yeah. It's a long way away, but yeah, hey, maybe next time, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. But again, real pleasure to have you on the show. Can't wait to have you back on to talk more about all the things we got coming up in 2026.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Sweet. So that's it for us here on VRCDJ Live. Of course, lots of different ways that you can interact with us, and we can interact back at you. Not seeming very weird or spooky about it, but of course, after the show is done here, we're going to have your highlights and replays up on YouTube at VRCDJ Live. Of course, all of the other episodes that you have missed for the past year. We actually just celebrated a year of VRCDJ Live. Where the time has gone. Nice. But all of the videos for you are up on YouTube. We do have an Instagram at VRCDJLive as well that we're going to be not only posting a lot from there, but also including a couple of other side projects that we want to be working on, including some kind of an inside scoop of your favorite venues. So I think we're going to start diving into that, hopefully in 2026 as well. Some housekeeping notes for you that... We next week on Thursday, we're going to be talking with Prof, who will be our next guest coming on here, the TV guy himself, to kind of talk about what he's been cooking and what he's been working on, and how he's been integrating with the community. And it's going to be a very amazing time with that. We also have our lineup coming up for October. It's going to be cracked out. You don't want to miss it. We've got a lot of great talent coming up for the remainder of the year. And also kind of be on the lookout for another iteration of VRC DJ Radio, hopefully coming up in the next couple of months as we celebrate the holidays, and ways that we can have you, the viewer, or you, the DJ, involved any way that you choose to as well. Very easy, very low pressure to have you a part of it. So still a lot of things coming on down the line. You can find more information about our upcoming guests and more information coming up for our shows up on X and Blue Sky at VRCDJ Live. Of course, down below in our bio, we also have the link tree with everything there as well. Lots of things going on with this show, but of course, we can't do the show without you. So having you as a guest on the show is always a very pleasant time, and having you part of the chat as well is very important. So, with all that being said, for xChillPhil, our guest on the show today, and the VRC DJ Live staff, I'm Rob Roman. Thank you guys so much for coming by, and we will see you next time.